Hello and welcome to the Medical Sales Podcast, and I am your host, Samuel. In this podcast, I interview top medical sales reps and leading medical sales executives across the entire country. And it doesn't matter what medical sales industry, from medical device to pharmaceutical to genetic testing to diagnostic lab, you name it. You will learn how to either break into the industry, be a top 5% performer within your role in sales, or climb the corporate ladder. Welcome to the Medical Sales Podcast. Hello and welcome to the Medical Sales Podcast. I'm your host, Samuel, and today we continue with Eric Ford. If you tuned in last week, you know he is the AVP for .2 Synthes, the first Black leader AVP there at .2 Synthes, and one of the youngest that led the eye division before that at Johnson & Johnson. So this is the second part 2 with Eric Ford, and it's going to be a treat, so make sure you tune in. As always, we do our best to bring you innovative guests that are doing things just a little bit differently and really pioneering, trailblazing in the medical sales space. So I really do hope you enjoy this interview.
So where those highly specialized areas reside, that's where I think the growth trajectory is. So when you start thinking about, the next 10 years, that's a space where I think there's going to be an influx of sales consultants. And once again, I'm being choiceful in the word.
I've noticed, yes.
People don't really want to be sold to anymore. You don't have to go too far from even social media now, the way algorithms work. You're always being fed things that are probably a part of, the ecosystem that you're shopping in. Someone's trying to convince you to do something. We got the TikTok environment where you watch one video, now you get fed 15 other videos that look very similar to the one that you just watched for like 2 seconds. Like, no, I don't want to watch any more of that.
Right.
But the reality is people still want service. They want support. I know so many people get frustrated because they call up a hotline and they're saying, hey, just send us a text message or you can fill this out online. People still want to be able to touch, speak to, and interact and build a relationship with someone that they trust to navigate the space that they're operating in. So I think sales consultants that can differentiate themselves, bring that value, bring that service, and have a kick-ass product, they're always going to be in business. There's always going to be a market for that. And I think the spaces that lend itself to that are always going to continue to grow, expand, and really dominate any industry.
Gotcha. Now, COVID changed a lot of things for the life of a sales rep, right? I mean, for a while there, people had to get very innovative in how to get access to their providers. And platforms like LinkedIn went from a useful platform to the main platform to try to get access. And the role of a rep went from I'm in the field 100% of the day to I'm in the field when I can, and other times I'm trying to come up with creative ways from my desk to get access, whether it be through email, text message, video, you name it. Now it's calmed down a little bit. The remnants of COVID are still very much here. What would you say it looks like now, and what would you say maybe .2 Synthes' approach has been to this new style of selling or consulting for the sales consultant?
Yeah, COVID exposed so many things. And I think in that time, we were thinking about what's essential and what's not essential. And fortunately, even throughout COVID, now, once again, I wasn't part of the organization at this time, but my sales consultants were deemed essential. So there were partners with hospitals where they had access, once again, to the OR. They had access to the hospital. They had access to their customer. While everyone else was bunkered at home, I like to joke and say, which is a serious matter, but they were like the Will Smith character in I Am Legend. One dog, one gun, like ready out there by themselves, really managing their business effectively because they were deemed essential. So nothing's changed for the sales consultant in my business, which was eye-opening because when the world stopped, this business continued to thrive and grow. Now, granted, the volume of cases was much lower because people weren't out getting hurt. And we never wish for anyone to get hurt, but that's the reality of the business. So it was a little bit slower, but where that was still happening, our sales consultants are right then there delivering exceptional service and doing their day-to-day job and putting their family at risk. So they would come home, have to take off their scrubs in the garage. We were all doing it in different ways, but they were still living their life and working every single day to meet the needs of the customer. What I also saw was in other industries, right? People were at home. People were limited to Zoom calls and phone calls and, messages directly on sites like LinkedIn. So I saw the way we interact and the touch points were definitely different. But even where you have specific access in the form of a OR or in the form of a Zoom meeting, I think the way we communicate for sales reps to end user customer has evolved. And the digital touch points are even more valuable, right? In the back in the day, we had a leave behind, a paper leave behind. I remember I always used to use the 3 points of touch point, an in-person conversation. I'm dating myself a little bit, but I would send a fax and then I would send an email, right? 3 points of communication. So now hey, you post something on LinkedIn, you send a direct message, you follow up with a phone call, all these different things, or a text message. I remember playing Words with Friends with different doctors, right? Just to kind of get another touch point, have a little fun, create that harmony where it's, a non-intimidating or threatening way where I'm not trying to always sell them something, but then also have that chat. Hey, did you see the note I left earlier today when I missed you? Like all those things are critically important to drive connection. And I think what COVID also showed us was connection will withstand any turmoil. And if you have a true relationship connection with your customer, I don't care if space or time is going to be elongated, that connection will still be there. And your opportunity to sell will always be there if you've invested the time and energy to build that relationship.
I love it. I love it. And it's true. Connection is everything. And there's so many ways to connect. And as long as you can maintain that connection, you'll always have business and you'll always have a relationship. All right. So one thing I really want to know from you, Eric, who were the most impactful people that kind of spoke into your life to give you the drive and mindset you have today?
Yeah, I think it's easy to pinpoint that. It's my mother, my grandmother. So I come from a massive family, roots from down south on my mother's side, roots from St. Thomas on my father's side. When I think about, strong Black women in my life, it's my mom and my grandmother. My grandmother was born in Newark, New Jersey. My mom born in Newark, New Jersey. And the fact that, my mom graduated Rutgers University, master from Rutgers University, was a school teacher in Newark, New Jersey, the community she lived in. And the lessons that she taught me through her students that I didn't even know was an inspiration and a driving factor for a lot of the things and decisions that I made across, my entire life and career. I still think in high school, she always used to say to me, Eric, you want to have options. And if you want to do X, Y, or Z, you don't want to make up your bed, or you want to have a maid, study hard, son. Oh, you want a pool? We're not going to get a pool. You want a pool? Study hard, son. So that was the response to any question that I had for her, any request that I had for her. It was study hard, son. And I think she got that mentality from her mother. And we talked about, breaking through glass ceilings, being trailblazers in different spaces. That's exactly who my grandmother was. So she was a legal secretary in the Essex County court system for years. And she was the first Black legal secretary. And a lot of times when she would, be doing her job, there were many microaggressions that she had to fight through to thrive in that environment. And the lessons and the stories that she shared with me and my older brother over the years, I think was really preparation for the spaces that we would occupy and that I've occupied over the last 10 years of my career. As you're ascending to higher levels of leadership, there are things that are going to happen that sometimes you have to look the other way on, and sometimes you're going to have to fight and kick in that door. And I think my grandmother did that gracefully in the space that she was in for years. And I was able to learn from a distance based upon the stories that she shared that really prepared me for the space that I occupy today. So those two women, I know I wouldn't be here to this day. My father would say it for years. You're a director, you're a VP. You better thank your mother. That's what she would say all the time. But I truly thank her and them, my mother and my grandmother, for being phenomenal women and putting me on a path that I didn't even know I was on.
Sure.
And that I'm realizing the potential that they saw in me is just incredible.
That's a beautiful story. And one thing I love that you highlighted in that story is how they were having those important conversations about breaking glass ceilings when you were young. So you really had the opportunity to really build on it and build that into your psyche and live that life.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Beautifully said. Okay, so let's switch gears one more time. So you do a lot. You have a wife. We know that. Do you have kids?
No kids yet.
No kids. Okay, so you're moving. You're moving. Tell us how you make it all happen. You have a very demanding position. You have a relationship to prioritize. What do you do that keeps you focused, keeps you grounded? Give us a little bit about what keeps you grounded, and then give us a little bit about how you maintain everything throughout your day.
Yeah, family keeps me grounded, right? So I have a wife, beautiful wife. I have a mother. I have my in-laws. I have an older brother. He has kids, two twin girls. So just that family connection, familial connection, and then strong network from college, like in high school. Played sports growing up, hung up the cleats before I went to college. But my buddies from, high school and college are the folks that I still kick it with to this day. So that grounds me, right? When I walk into a room and it's a work function, I think a lot of times I feel like it's written on my forehead, AVP. And so many people are like that, which is cool. And I understand the dynamic. It's a great accomplishment. It's a great title, but that's not who I am. So when I'm with my friends, they just see E, what's up? We have those reminiscent moments where we're just talking about old times, building new memories, and just having fun. And I think that's what keeps me motivated and grounded, because we're all doing great things. And that's the beauty of going to a HBCU, a Hampton University. There are so many people within my network who are doing great things like me, and even better than me, that continue to motivate the space that I'm in. So, Black excellence at Hampton, we call it the standard of excellence. And that's something that I love. And I have homecoming coming up, always in the fall. No matter what part of the year, I'm always looking forward to homecoming. The weekend after homecoming, I'm looking forward to homecoming. The weekend before homecoming, I'm looking forward to homecoming. So, that just re-energizes myself. My wife and I, we met on campus. So the fact that we can go back to where we met, I think that always rekindles a special place in our hearts. And I think ultimately it's where I found the love of my life. I found my career role. So there are so many different sentimental reasons with why I love going back to campus during homecoming. But the most important is seeing the Black excellence on campus, coming back and seeing the beautiful bands, the football team, just the people and the energy and the charisma and the swag that we have is second to none. And it is, once again, energizing and inspiring for me to be back at work every single day with a purpose to say, I'm not just doing this for myself. I'm doing it for legacy. I'm doing it for family. And I'm doing it for, the folks that will come after me as I continue to kick in these doors, leave them open, and pull people up and look to be pilled up to higher levels.
That is fantastic. Now I have to ask, were you part of a fraternity at Hampton?
No, I was not. No, me find me, man. Me find me.
That's the first time I've heard that. Me find me. I'm stealing that. That's cool. That's cool.
The cool part about being on campus, I don't know if you could tell in the back, but those are some vinyl records. Got the turntables back there, but I love music, right? So going on campus freshman year, coming from Jersey, I brought my turntables. It was like, I'm a DJ. So I was able to DJ for the parties, the alpha parties, the Q parties. Yeah. It was cool, man. So I had great relationships across the board just based on that passion of DJing, even for the pageants, right? Every, pageant person would want to have this cut of music. So I would do a lot of music production for some of those pageants and fashion shows. So I was connected in so many different ways on campus. I wasn't limited to just one fraternity or one organization, which was beautiful. Sure. I got to see different things, experience different things. And even working for the school, right? When the school's writing you a check because you just DJ'd a party, that's a good feeling. So, I once again had that always spirit of that hustle, that grit, and entrepreneurship, which transcended even on campus when I was at Hampton. So it was fun.
How often do you DJ these days?
Every week.
Every week? Really? Week. Where? Every what? Week. Tell us. What are you doing?
Yeah, you talk about
where can we hear you?
Mixtape radio, man. I host a radio show. It's great. You can find it on SoundCloud. But that's how I unwind, right? If I have a hard week, I look forward to that Friday or Saturday morning. Just get up, spin for about 45 minutes to an hour, and I just record them.
Nice.
I post it on SoundCloud. It's something that's great. Keep those creative juices flowing. I send it out to my friends once again. I'm not worldwide. I sent it to a couple buddies here and there.
Sure.
And it brings us back to those memories when we were out in those streets. But other than that, I think those are critically important, right? To have those outlets. I love to cook. I love to be out and be outdoors and exercise. Those are the things that I look forward to every single day. And I always have a saying, every week, can I look back and say I did something for the first time? Does that happen every week? No. But every month I look up and say, yeah, I did something for the first time. And,
Awesome.
Recently within DePuy Synthes, we had a hockey tournament. So I played ice hockey
For the
for my
first time?
no, it wasn't for the first time, but first
Oh, was
time
it for the first time?
I grew up playing ice hockey in New Jersey. So
Oh, okay. All right.
past, but it's been 20 years since I played.
Wow.
But those are things that I think just keeping active and staying busy
Yeah.
that allow me to bring my best self to work and not feel too stressed out while I'm doing, a hard job.
Absolutely. So then, it goes without saying, but I'm going to say it. There's going to be a link to one of your music productions in the show notes of this episode.
That works.
Yeah. All right. Everybody heard it. You're the witnesses. So expect to see it. All right. That is fantastic. I love it. I believe that someone like yourself, right, that really believes in excellence, that really has done what they can to take advantage of any opportunity that's given to them, kind of operates by some kind of life philosophy. If it's true for you, please share what it is. And if it's not, then share what is that. I don't know. I mean, you talked to us about some of the things that ground you and where your roots came from. But what's that life philosophy that maybe you can inspire other people listening to this episode to kind of decide to take on if they don't have one for themselves?
Yeah, I think the first is every day when my father would drop me off to school. This is more so in high school. Before I would get out of the car, you'd say, strive for perfection. And I would hear it every single day. Like, all right, pops, I'm not going to be perfect, but like strive for perfection, right? And I think he was intentional in the words that he was using when he would say that to me. Unfortunately, my father passed in 2020 due to cancer, stage 4. It kicked him really, really hard, and he passed in 2020. But as I thought back at that time, all of the lessons that he taught myself and my older brother, that's one that always rang true, like strive for perfection. So whatever you do, how can you do and put your stamp on it and strive to be perfect? And you won't end there, but if that's the goal and the aspiration, I think you'll do a pretty good job. I think the second thing that runs through my mind is without struggle, there's no progress. Far too often we think things come easy. We see people having success and we only see the highlight reel and we think, oh, it must be easy because they're doing it, on why it should be easy for me. But we know if you're going to progress in something and if you're going to have, any type of success, there's going to be a struggle. There's going to be hardships. But what you do with those hardships to overcome them is what defines you as a man and as an individual and as a human. And I think the last one is if I cease being better, I cease being good. So every single day trying to get better. And it's the small things. When I was first a manager, one of my great mentors said, Eric, you're going to have a bunch of team members. You're going to try to, have them all do it the way you did it. Don't do that. But if you get one individual, just do one thing differently every single time you're with them, that'll be a recipe for success. And I not only took that advice to the teams that I was managing, I took that advice to heart and tried to apply that to my life. And I said, if every week, every day, I can just do one thing better, if that's, interact with some of my direct reports in a better way that produces a better outcome, you compound that over time and you're going to continue to improve. And I think those are the things that people sometimes take for granted. I had a college friend, he met Kobe Bryant before he passed. And it was random, right? He was just in a gym in Philly, and he was just getting up some jump shots. And he was proud of himself. He told Kobe, said, I got 1,000 jump shots in, this morning. And Kobe looked at him and said, you shouldn't leave until you make 1,000 jump shots. And that kind of shook him up. And I remember when he was sharing the story, it makes you always think about, life in a different way around how do you better yourself? Because what you think is good, someone else is looking at it like it's not impressive. So how do you continue to challenge yourself and put yourself in a space that allows you to, so once again, continue to grow and improve?
I love it. That's great. That's fantastic. Eric, this has been a pleasure to listen to you and listen to your story, understand your journey, and really what drives you. That's what we got the privilege of hearing today. So I'm going to end it all by asking you a couple questions now. This is a little fun we're about to have. You have less than 10 seconds to answer them. And just, whatever comes to mind. So, number one, best book that you've read in the last 6 months.
Oh, Smarter, Faster, Better by Charles Duhigg.
Wow. I mean, that was very, very, very specific by Charles Duhigg. So, when did that book come out? Is that a classic or is that something new?
It's a classic in my mind. No, it's not. It's not new. It probably came out, I don't know, maybe 7 years ago.
Wow. Okay. Okay. I love it. All right. I'm going to have to get on that one. Best movie in the last 6 months.
That's a hard one.
Or TV show. Your choice.
Surface.
I've never even, again, something I haven't heard of. What is this? Is that a TV show? Is that a movie?
Surface is a TV show. It's on Apple TV,
Okay.
starring Gugu Mbatha.
Why is it good?
Why is it good? Because the premise of the show is everything that you think on the surface is never what you think it is. And I think that transcends into life. A lot of people judge books by its cover. The premise of the show is woman has a horrible accident. She has amnesia and she's trying to remember the life that she had prior to this accident. And people around her are creating environments that they think are best for her. But as she starts to realize this is not the person that she was or is, and she's trying to discover who she truly is. Is she the villain? Is she not the villain? Is her husband the villain?
Ooh,
There's
okay.
twists and turns that this show takes that's really inspiring because I think that's how life is. You never know.
It's real.
You know, the bad person doesn't describe themselves as the bad person. You have to, only learn that after a long amount of time of discovery.
I'm sold. All right. Smarter, faster, better, and Surface. Okay. Best meal you've had in the last 6 months.
You know what? I have to go with right off my smoker. It's been something I've been passionate about. It's my barbecue ribs. I spent some time in Texas, so I know good brisket. I also spent some time in Memphis, so I know good ribs. The ribs that came off my smoker, man.
See, now you messed up. So now we have to add another link to the show notes for people to put it in order to get these ribs.
Man, I'm going to put some people out of business.
That is fantastic. And then the last question, best experience you've had in the last 6 months.
Best experience I've had in the last 6 months. This is going to air, after we're telling people. So soon to be a father. My wife
Congratulations.
is currently pregnant. So getting that news, it's life changing, as you know, and as everyone
I do.
But getting that news, it means the world and something that we're super excited about. It's going to be a baby boy, and we can't wait to be
blessing.
parent.
Talk about saving the best for last. What a blessing, man. Congratulations to you. Eric, it's been a true pleasure. We're definitely going to have our eyes on you as you continue to make things happen for Diffuse Synthes. And thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
And that was Eric Ford. He is definitely a man on the move, and he's making his way, blazing the way over there at Johnson & Johnson with Diffuse Synthes. So maybe you heard this episode and you're someone that wants to get into the field and you want to be a medical sales rep. You want to work in ortho or trauma, and maybe you want to work for Diffuse Synthes, and you're thinking, how do I make this happen? What I heard today is exactly where I want to be. Visit evolveyoursuccess.com, select Attain Medical Sales Role, fill out some information, submit it, and have a conversation with us so you can explore the Medical Sales Career Builder program. That is a program designed to get a professional with a bachelor's degree into a medical sales role. And we are having success left and right, and you could be just another successful individual to come out of the program and contribute to being another success story. So again, visit Evolve Your Success and select Attain a Medical Sales Role. And if you're someone that's thinking about really doing things in a bigger way this year, you're already in the field. Maybe you're in a pharmaceutical sales position, or you're in a medical device sales position, or anywhere in between, and you're in some type of medical sales role, and you're saying to yourself, I want this to be my year. I know I have what it takes, and I'm ready to do what it takes to attain it. Then again, visit Evolve Success, select Improve Sales Performance, take a look at our sales training program, submit some information, schedule a call with us, and let's get you the results that you've been looking for. As always, we do our best to bring you innovative guests that are doing things differently in the medical sales space. So make sure you tune in next week for another episode of the Medical Sales Podcast. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And remember, I have a couple programs that show you exactly how to break into the medical sales industry, become a top-performing medical sales professional, and also how to masterfully navigate your career to executive level leadership. Check out these programs and learn more at evolveyoursuccess.com. Stay tuned for more awesome content with amazing interviews.